Bolton's here, OBE, International Border Control Expert. Henry, have you ever heard anything like this before?
Morning. No, like this is just, you know, if you want to, it's a much overused phrase, isn't it? You couldn't make it up.
I know.
If you'd asked me, a few years ago whether any such situation as this could arise, then I would ask you, what you've been drinking.
Yeah.
But it's mad. It's utter madness. I mean, right at the beginning of this piece, you talked about, the fact that we're sort of, you used the analogy of selling your phone and paying somebody to take it from you. I'll explain this because actually the madness of it's even in a sense worse because the Chagos Islands, British overseas territory with a huge base, a strategic military base there for us and particularly for the Americans. Now, the Americans were going to oppose us giving the Chagos Islands to Mauritius unless we had an agreement on the base. Mauritians said, well, look, if you're going to give these islands, that's all well and good, but, there are islands and you want to have access to a military base on them. Well, you're going to have to lease that base off us.
Right.
So that's what we're actually paying them for, so that we remove American opposition. So there's some sort of agreement there. So we're giving them land with a massive, great military facility on it that we need and the Americans need, and then leasing that base back off them. And in this whole process, the poor people of the Chagos Islands have been trying desperately to get decent, proper conversations going with the Foreign Office. They've been blocked every which way. They have even turned up at meetings with the Foreign Office in the Foreign Office building itself at King Charles Street to be told, right, we're not going to talk about the future of the Chagos Islands.
Right.
Well, the whole thing is utter madness. So these poor people, have had no real sort of channel into the government. The government has not listened to them, has not wanted to talk to them, and now is having, the poor citizens of Hillingdon are going to have to pay for this. It's there are so many scandals surrounding this government, Mike. I cannot quite grasp that.
But also, is this not also a sort of a stain on the Home Office? Because the Home Office appears to be involved in all of these scenarios, right? I mean, we just heard from the Councillor Steve Tuckwell, that they've got thousands, possibly as many as 3,000 illegal migrants staying in the Hillingdon area because Heathrow obviously has, a very high concentration of migrant hotels for one reason or another, right? But that's the Home Office that are making those decisions. The Home Office are paying these ridiculous contracts to people like, Clear Springs and to Serco. You've then got the Home Office also making a decision on people who have got British passports, who come here from the Chagos Islands, who have got a right to be here, but who are treated as if they are somehow criminal. But so the criminals get treated like they're not criminals, and the people who come here who are not criminals get treated like criminals. How does that work?
I know, and the whole thing is just such a mess. The asylum seekers that you talk about in the hotels, okay, people are being moved out of the hotels, but as your previous speaker, the councillor from Hillingdon, was saying, they are just being moved into other accommodation. It's called dispersal accommodation in local council areas. Now, it's not saving money. It's not doing anything apart from appeasing people who've said, right, we need to close the hotels, whilst there's not been any other plan in place to accommodate these people. Now, these poor people from the Chagos Islands who've come over, they sort of fall between the stools because they're not really Home Office responsibility, right, because they're not asylum seekers. They're not being processed by the Home Office. They're full British nationals, British citizens, so they are effectively homeless people. That falls on the council to deal with, but it's a result of a central government decision that the government can't explain. And it's worth mentioning with that, why is the government doing all this? Well, it's a very interesting question, isn't it? Because we've also got the Chinese spy case that has just fallen apart. Christopher Cash, a parliamentary researcher formerly, Chris Berry, a teacher, both prosecuted and taken to court for spying for China. Well, that case has fallen apart because the government refuses to acknowledge that China is a threat, despite countless security service, MI6, Met counterterrorism and everybody else, and parliamentary committees reports all saying that China is actively pursuing hostile espionage against the United Kingdom. The government's refusing to do this. Now, who's behind this? It's the Attorney General, Lord Hermer.
Lord Hermer. Yeah, his name comes up all the time in these cases. Listen, I've got to run, Henry. I've got to go. Sorry, we're nearly out of time. It's coming up to quarter to 10. We'll get you back on soon to talk more about all of this. Keir